Hello YouTube, this is Pineapple again. I've received some pretty positive feedback about the Sage build overview and mapping showcase, so I thought I'd make one for Corrosive Throw Erika 1, as well as my other build for the league. At one point I was number 1 on the Dragon rankings. I have fallen to number 3 in North America right now. This is Shadows on Twitch, who helped me a lot when I was tinkering with the build. He also plays it and streams almost every day on Twitch. Highly recommend checking him out. Let's get into what I did with the build. So we have a Vorax head. It's plus 10 support level, multi-strikes, projectile speed. It's Heart of the Storm, more support levels, and attacking cast speed. Unfortunately, I bound it when I tried to corrode it, so you know that is what it is. We've got double deterioration blight, double corroded stray bird's return, some verdant steps that I bound. Now the verdant steps are a real key part of the build. Not only do they give us elemental ailment immunity, they also let us take all of our damage as lightning. They give us additional erosion damage for me and our minions, and move speed, but the move speed doesn't really matter on this build. We're a spiral strike build. We're using a corruption cursed neck with more multi-strike, active skills, dex, some res, projectile speed. The belt is giving us immune to slow and weaken. The little bit of sealed mana that we need, we're using Caged Fury as our blending. This is where we're picking up Profane, some of our deterioration chance, additional damage taken at low mana, which we're always at because we use seal most of it. And this caps our double damage as well. The cold res is a dead stat for me, but I had nothing better to put there. Immune to trauma on this ring, plus timid, life, armor mitigation, chance again. We cap our deterioration chance with these 3 items. Additional damage for main hand weapons. We're a joined force build, so our offhand weapon never attacks. So this is a very good stat for us. Barrier when moving, and crit strike rating. This ring, I got very lucky finding this base. Fizz damage is erosion, attack aggression, more fizz damage is erosion that I rolled onto it. We don't need the T0 chance here, we're already capped at 100%. The attacking spell block does finish out capping us, the rest is on our memories. Max life, we don't need T0 chance to deal double damage, we're already capped on it. Again, main hand weapon damage and crit strike rating. Our offhand weapon is a double priceless base, more deterioration damage, increasing damage from our multi-strikes. All of our pin pretty much comes from this weapon. More flat erosion damage that gets added to our main hand weapon. Chance to multi-strike, crit strike damage, and erosion damage. So this weapon is basically just a stat stick. It allows us to amp up our main hand weapon, which is another double priceless base. We have so much crit in this build because of maggot stacking that this negative attack crit doesn't actually matter, so it's just giving us a lot more physical damage. We got T0 Fizz, multi-strikes increased damage, chance to deal double damage, crit strike rating for the gear, and gear attack speed and negative additional damage. For our hero traits, we're taking bottom, top, top. We're running Cat's Night Safari, which is extremely good. Gains 1 stack of interest upon dealing damage to an elite enemy. Gains Hunting Instinct when having at least 5 stacks of interest. What Hunting Instinct does is gives us plus 2 our initial multi-strike count and max multi-strike count when it lasts for 30 seconds. This almost doubles our damage. This is giving some of our max elemental res. So we're trying to get our lightning res up to 90% so that we're reducing all incoming damage by 90%. More attacking spell block chance. Origin of Spirit Magnus. We are a Magus build after all. More block chance on this memory plus life. And immune to wilt comes from this memory plus more block, more origin, and a little bit of attacking cast speed. For our skills, we're using Corrosive Throw with Swift Strike and Augmentation, both leveled to 5. These are T0 versions of the supports. I bought them as slightly off of max roll on this one and perfect roll on this one. Our still attack is 1 off of perfect on the willpower. Plus 1 projectiles passivization. We're using a shadow shot setup with activation medium multi-strike. We're getting our paralyze via grudge here, and this turns it into an empower skill that gives us additional erosion hit damage taken by the enemy when affected by it. Our module is giving us aura amplification and overclock composition. Now the overclock composition is pretty important. The aura amplification is really nice, it's good to have, but this is giving us the cooldown recovery speed we need to keep uptime on our Heart of the Storm, as well as 20% injury buffering. Spiral Strike, pretty straightforward. Focus Shot is how we're getting fervor in this build. Activation medium rhythm means that we don't have to have a gun to use it. It will activate anyway. This is our 1 aura, precise projectiles. Because we have an aura on our module, we can use concentrated. Well, not because of, but because we only have 1 aura on our module, we can use concentrated, so that's what I'm doing. Then our Summon Rock Magnus is using our Protection Field, Precise Friend of Spirit Magnus, and Precise Superpower. Summon Erosion Magnus, Precise Superpower, Precise Friend of Magus, and Erosion Plague Source, which gives us additional erosion damage added to the origin effect, same as the boots. And we're scaling origin effect by nearly 800%, so that's a lot of erosion damage for us. And our Summon Thunder Magnus is Precise Superpower, Precise Friend of the Magi, Summon Thunder Magnus. This is giving us a lot of max lightning resistance. Again, this is added to the origin effect, so we're scaling our origin effect by nearly 800%, so, or by 830% rather. Plus Restrained to help us fit it in. Go into Pact, and what we've got here, we've got Portrait of the Fallen Sanctus. We're gaining blessings, which gives us erosion damage and erosion 10. We're stacking erosion magus effect. We have dual Kismet Ice Flower here, as well as dual Kismet Fire Plume here. This gives us the 2 maguses that we don't have elsewhere. More max lightning res. This is our 3-eyed cat because we are using a Viper to gain precise corrosive focus. We have precise projectiles for our aura, and we have obviously all 5 maguses. So 3-eyed cat is giving us 30% additional damage. More origin effect, more max lightning res, more origin effect, more max lightning res. And then of course we're using Drapion Lady for even more origin effect. More origin effect. We're using Poison Omen to allow us to use the Cursed Neck and the Timid Ring. So, how does Corrosive Throw function? It's basically Lightning Strike from PoE 1. without the melee hit component. It's just the projectiles that come off the lightning strike come off in a cone. Because of stray birds, they're returned to us. And it's just all around a very comfy skill for Erika to use. For talents, we have Goddess of Hunt with 3rd times the charm and Rushed, taking additional attack speed if you dealt crit strike recently, Dex, projectile speed, minus skill cost and damage. For Blade Runner, this is where our inverse image is. We're copying our additional attack for unique weapon equips and our multi-strike. So we're also getting our agility blessings when using mobility skills here. And more multi-strike stuff. For Alchemist, we're taking Source because we're a Magus stacker and we have to. Life, attack speed, life, sealed mana compensation for our Maguses. This is taking a bit of our damage to our minions, and this allows us to run the 3 Maguses for precise Friend of the Spirit Magus. Then Marksman, we're getting Gale. The Phantasmagoria is a Origin of Spirit Magus effect, and Fortitude when using a melee skill. Now the melee skill, Throw does not count as melee skill, as a ranged skill. However, we're spiral striking through almost everything, so that will give us Fortitude as we go through things through maps, and we can always spiral strike through a boss to gain Fortitude when doing bossing. For Slate setup, we have Defensiveness for block ratio, and Static for more damage while standing still, over 1 second to charge up. A little bit of injury buffer, doesn't hurt. Chance to mark enemy on crit strike, and a lot of our crit strike damage comes from our slates with the critical strike damage per fervor rating. We're copying that with this moth over here. This is more crit strike damage per fervor rating and additional damage after using mobility skills. Again, we're copying that fervor. This is copying chance to multi-strike, because we do need to get our multi-strike between 300 and 400%. 400 ideally. I don't quite have that on this build. I kind of forgot about my multi-strike until a little bit late into the build, so I had to fit in some as I could, and that is why I've been passed on the leaderboards. We do want to convert all of our physical damage to erosion damage, so we have to have this mod somewhere in the slates. And then we're copying the original skill level with our query. And this is another additional attack damage for each unique type of weapon. And erosion skill level again copied by our query. The important thing to note about this helmet and the support skill levels is it affects nearly everything in our skills. Which I guess that seems kind of obvious, but we have plus 25 to our support skills. This has, plus 25 to our support skills that are also erosion. Plus 21 to normal skills. But most importantly, this applies to our restraints. As well as scaling all of the damage that we get from our various supports. It scales the origin effect that we get from Friend of the Spirit Magus. It scales the origin effect that we get from Superpower. And if we come over here, we go damage, and we go Thunder Magus. Where is it? Origin of Spirit Magus. So we have 748% increased, plus the 100% base effect means that we have 848% Origin of Spirit Magus effect. We need 830% for us to take all of our damage as lightning. So that's an important breakpoint to get to with a 12% roll on boots. Now 12% is obviously a low roll. If you have 13, it doesn't take quite that much to hit. So there's that. Besides that, let's just get into a map and show people how the build works. So we're gonna go deep space. Some random card that I have. Nothing on here matters to us. We are ailment immune. Everything else is fine. We are extremely tanky on this build. So we're going to do some Borax, some Arcana, and some Hunt, and just kind of show off what the build looks like. No game, we're not too squishy for this. As you can see, I can pretty much stand in whatever I want. Now this is a still attack build, so it does have some of the downsides of having to sit still to deal damage. However, because we're so tanky, this doesn't actually really matter to us that much. We can just stand in our Arcana cards in deep space. It's not impossible for us to die, but it's very unlikely. The only reason I'm level 95 is because, well, I got interested in playing Sage and kind of re-rolled off the build before I had taken it to its full completion. It would be very easy to level to high 90s, 100 if you wanted to on this build. So as you can see, we're standing in everything. Everything dies super quick. We have about 60 trillion damage on this build right now. I have done SS20 on it. I don't think I'm going to record a video of SS20 on the build. I'm sure that Shadows or somebody else probably has already done that. I just don't feel like running the fight again. There are a couple of things, like I said, I had just gotten some of my supports when I was pushing on this build. So I was still leveling up because I had bought level 1 versions of supports. So this build wasn't actually even finished. It just got to a point where I was kind of bored with it because I've played it before. I do love the build, that is why I played it again, but I tinkered around with a lot of different versions before finally settling on going Verdant Steps and Origin stacking, so a lot of my Origin effect supports have not fully been leveled yet. So that just means that the build would scale even harder, and I would probably be able to compete for my number 1 spot again on Dragon, but I'm just not that interested in doing so right now. So that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed and that it's been helpful if you want to play this archetype, and I will see you again later. Goodbye.